State Department says it's started to review the terrorist designation of Yemen's Ansarullah movement days after inauguration of Joe Biden as new president. Department said it's working as fast as possible to conduct the review and make a determination. That's while former U.S. President Donald Trump blacklisted the Ansarullah as a terrorist group in the final days of his administration. Move triggered protests from the United Nations and international aid groups, as well as the Yemeni people. UN officials believe the act will further complicate efforts to combat the world's worst humanitarian crisis. The UN fears that designation will encourage foreign businesses from helping the war-torn nation. The humanitarian situation has already worsened in Yemen due to years of Saudi-led war and blockade. And joining us now from Ontario for more on the story is Jason Unruhe, political commentator. Hey there, Jay. Happy New Year. Hope you're doing well out there in your neck of the woods. Now, Jason, your thoughts on, initially, why do you think they even blacklisted the Ansarullah? We know the Saudis have been basically bombing with impunity weddings and funerals and vital of infrastructure in Yemen, killing civilians left and right. If they get these guys, classified, designated as a terrorist organization, they get away with what's up until now been literally one war crime after the next. So we know that. But your thoughts on the designation itself, or how you think the Biden administration is going to deal with it from here on out?
Well, thank you. I think that this is very much the entire blacklisting of this was originally created to give the Saudis a free hand to do whatever it is that they wanted. Let's be honest here. The Saudi assault on the Yemeni people and the Yemeni government is all at the behest of the primary imperialist powers in the world. It's just that this time Saudi Arabia is the one who is going to be towing the line and putting out the effort in order to collapse or to take over another country that would not be favorable to a U.S. Israel-Saudi block of control. So with the designation of it, Ansarullah as a terrorist organization means anything that Saudi Arabia then does to this organization, which is standing up to the invasion, is therefore okay. And if it's a terrorist organization, nobody cares. You're allowed to do pretty much whatever it is that you want. That may not entirely hold up in law, but the moral the moral core is there, that it's okay to do these things to terrorists, when really what is terroristic here is what the Saudis are doing to the Yemenis, even going so far as to deliberately bomb school buses in order to sow terror in their society. But I think that with the U.S., the current Biden administration, considering whether or not they want to change that designation, I, in a way, would not be surprised if they did, because I think that there's definitely always an effort on the part of the Democrats to make imperialism seem almost like imperialism light under their leadership. So I think that if they remove that designation, they would be in a position where they could say, "Oh, we don't really agree with what Saudi Arabia is doing, but we took the Ansarullah off the blacklist so they can receive food aid and stuff like that." When the U.S. is the primary source of the problem to begin with, this is almost like having a two-faced approach to it, one that is not really utilized by the Republican Party. They're usually much more honest about the nature of the empire itself, whereas the Democrats try very much to put a human face on imperialism. So in that regard, I would not be surprised if the Democrats did decide to remove the label on Ansarullah, but I also would be surprised if they decided, well, it's been on this long and apparently the so-called international community doesn't seem to care, then they'll just leave it going.
And before we let you go, Jay, you think Biden, he's already alluded to it on a couple of occasions, you think he's going to be tougher on the Saudis?
I sincerely doubt it. I think there's absolutely zero chance of that. He might not be as superficially friendly as Trump was, but in the actual essence of the nature of their relationship, there will be no change whatsoever. The United States will continue to sell all the weapons that Saudi Arabia wants. They're not going to lose that kind of a defense contract and that kind of amount of money pouring into their economy, given how tied U.S. jobs are to the defense defense industry. And given the fact that the two are allies and essentially carry out the same set of interests. So there really is absolutely nothing that what he's
And thanks for joining us on this news article here. Out of Ontario, that's Jason Unruhe joining us, political commentator.
problem.
You bet.